Alright, what's up everybody? My name is DeltaWolf556 and I'm back with episode 62 of my Fallout New Vegas playthrough. Last time we went to Vault 34 and shut down the reactor in order to decontaminate the water for the sharecropper farms as well as other people who drink that water. I also got into Vault 34's armory and got the pulse gun and the All-American. Now, something I neglected to mention about the All-American last time is, if we pull it out real quick, you can see it's got a nice little cool looking woodland camo on it. And then if I go ahead and drop it on the ground real quick. So if you look at the side of the magazine well of the lower receiver, you could see the insignia of the 82nd Airborne Division. And the two A's stands for All-American, which is why the gun is called the All-American. Anyway, today we are headed back inside the NCR embassy, and we're going to be talking to Ambassador Crocker because he's got another mission for us. He's not even in his office. Well, that's fine. We can take this opportunity to read some of the notes and stuff that are around here, such as Ambassador Susanna Edith's final report. Final report, Ambassador Susanna Edith. The past 2 years serving as the NCR ambassador to the Strip have been trying at best and downright horrid at worst. Living here in New Vegas has been horrible. The accommodations here are barely serviceable, which is a deliberate and malicious act by Mr. House to hinder the NCR's efforts here in New Vegas. On top of that, I have constantly surrounded by drunken idiots who gamble away their money. The wording there is slightly wrong. It should be, I have constantly been surrounded by drunken idiots, but oh well. We'll look past that. My work here has been fruitless. I've been unable to get anywhere with Mr. House, or actually meet Mr. House, since all I have dealt with are his Securitrons that only serve to frustrate me further. Still, after all this time, we have been unable to find a common understanding between Mr. House and the NCR's goals for the area. I look forward to returning home to the NCR, and I wish my successor luck. You're gonna need it. Susanna Edith. Then in here we have Ambassador Philip Granger's final report. Final report, Ambassador Philip Granger. With my term here coming to a close, I'm taking a moment to reflect on my accomplishments here. Sadly, they are few and far between. The politics between the families and Mr. House have made it incredibly difficult to deal with any of them. The Omertas are a group of sleazy lowlifes pretending to be something they aren't. The White Glove Society gives me the creeps. There's something strange going on with them, and I'm not sure I want to know what that is. The chairmen are thugs that dress themselves up in fancy suits pretending to be cool. I'm surprised that they've lasted this long without killing each other, although it's probably due to Mr. House and his Securitrons. We have our work cut out for us here. I wish my term here was more fruitful than it was, but I'm glad to be returning to the NCR. Philip Granger. So we have strip letter 9 over here in the mess hall. I just gotta wait till I'm hidden so I can grab it. And then over here on a table in this back corner of the barracks, we have strip letter 11. Strip letter 9. To Private Humphreys. This has been the best 3-day pass yet. I learned my lesson early and ditched the casinos for the girls at Gomorrah. Now that is money well spent. You can't get that kind of service at Camp Golf. Going to sleep now while it's daylight and head back out to Gomorrah tonight for one last hurrah. Private Watkins. Strip letter 11. To Private Irwin. If I hear of you pulling another prank on one of my troopers that causes them to return to duty without their clothing fully intact, I will personally make sure you get transferred to Camp Forlorn Hope and don't come back. I'll be watching you. Lieutenant Asheville. A little side stop over in the military police headquarters. We got strip letter 10 in this room back here. Strip letter 10 to Private Jackson. This is the last time I take your advice. I went to the bar at Gomorrah like you said. I got pissed drunk, kicked out after getting too friendly with the dancers, fell into the gutter, and puked all over myself before being picked up by some MPs. Next thing I know, I'm waking up in the drunk tank 2 days later. Thanks for wasting my pass, jerk. Private Daniels. Now, you don't have to read any of the strip letters. They're just kind of like a little bit of, kind of like the Forlorn Hope letters. You could just kind of read them and get kind of like an idea of like what the troopers are dealing with on their day-to-day lives, basically. Ah, Ambassador Crocker, nice of you to finally be in your office.
It's good to see such an outstanding citizen of the NCR. What can I do for you, my friend?
So earlier you mentioned another assignment.
So I did. As you may have noticed, our position here in New Vegas is tenuous. We've made great strides, sure, but the NCR is not welcomed here, merely tolerated. And even then, not by everyone. We've had reports of violence against NCR citizens in a neighborhood just to the northeast called Freeside. Ever been there?
Yes, I have. What of it?
Violence is something of a way of life there, but there's been a disturbing rise in the number of attacks on our people lately. More worrying is the fact that our sources suggest the violence is being perpetrated by the gang that runs the place, the Kings. I need someone to look into this that won't attract attention. Would you be interested?
Absolutely.
Good. Our men have come up with 2 different plans for seeing an end to the violence. First, our sources have tracked most of the attacks back to a king named Pacer. The consensus is that the violence will stop if he's removed. The problem is we can't simply kill him. In the current climate, the NCR would likely be blamed for his death. There is an alternative option, but my sources feel that getting rid of this Pacer fellow is our best shot.
But what's my other choice?
I'm not a violent man myself, so I had our guys come up with an alternate solution on the off chance that our agent-to-be shared my sentiments. In that case, we could take a different tact, but one that I at least have more experience with: diplomacy. If we can't go after the man responsible, we'll simply appeal to the man above him. The Kings, including our friend Pacer, report to the leader of their gang, a man who calls himself the King.
Tell me more about the king.
He's Caucasian, in his mid-30s, and extremely charismatic. It's that last part we're counting on. The Kings are a bunch of young hoodlums who aren't inclined to listen to anyone except him. Get him on your side, and the rest will fall in line.
So what would I need to do?
Go and talk to the King. Try to convince him to put an end to this violence. Pacer's a punk, but he won't likely disobey a direct order. The King might not be open to the idea at first, so you may have to integrate yourself with him. Do whatever it takes. When it's done, one way or the other, report back here, and we'll take it from there.
Sounds good.
I wish you luck. If you run into some difficulty and think you'd rather just take the shot with Pacer, that's fine too.
All right. Well, I've never met the king before. Definitely, absolutely, 100%. That cyber dog totally didn't get that from him either or anything. Yep, never talked to the king before. Anyways, so now that we're not in his room, we'll close the door so he can't hear us. Obviously, yes, we have worked with the king before, quite a bit, quite extensively actually. And he actually still owes us a favor. Now, some people might not think to do this, but you can actually use the king's favor to solve this quest diplomatically.
What can the king do for you?
So, Mr. the King, I need you to stop the violence against the NCR citizens.
Whoa, that's a doozy. Truth be told, I don't even know if I can pull something like that off.
All I'm asking is that you try.
I'll give it my best. You've earned that much. But that makes us even, you hear?
You got it. There we go. These more map markers are so convenient. It is so convenient to just fast travel straight to the strip south as opposed to having to fast travel to the gate, go through that loading screen, come inside, go through the second loading screen, walk all the way down, go through that third loading screen, and then walk all the way over here. So convenient. If you're not a huge modder or not into having a lot of mods, definitely get the more map markers. It is great. Hello, Ambassador Crocker. I'm already back. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, you've only been gone 2 minutes. Yeah, don't worry about it. I've already taken care of the Kings. I've talked to him, and he has agreed to cease the hostilities with the NCR.
That's great to hear. He's got a lot of sway in Freeside, so we can expect a dramatic drop in violence soon. Now, you're probably wondering about your reward. This has been something of a hot-button topic, so I was able to secure this for you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And with a barter of 60, I risked my neck out there. Couldn't you spare a little more?
Well, I don't officially have access to any more funds, but here. This is from me personally. There's more coming your way, too. I've received a message from Colonel Moore up at Hoover Dam. She's been following your exploits and has requested that you meet with her. You're not officially in the employ of the NCR, so there's nothing forcing you to go. But I'd go see her sooner rather than later. The Colonel is not someone you want to keep waiting.
Alright, well that sounds good. Well, before we head over to Colonel Moore and start for the Republic Part 2, which is another one of my favorite little quest lines. So it's a nice interesting quest. Obviously I'll talk about it more when I actually get around to doing it, but basically it's a big quest that has a couple of side quests inside of it, if that makes sense. Think of it as a folder with a bunch of subfolders in it. That's basically what it is, but it's a nice quest. I do like the quest. So before we go ahead and do that, next time there is something that I already have planned for next episode, so hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. I know this was a very short episode today, but that's alright, you know? Sometimes it's refreshing to have a short episode as opposed to, a pretty long one. Speaking of long one, that was a longer loading screen for that door than it usually is. But yeah, anyway, Hopefully you guys enjoyed this nice short video. If you did, I would appreciate you dropping a like on it. If you happen to be new, would appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Other than that, hope you guys have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, nighttime, afternoon, whatever time it is for you, and I'll catch you guys later. DeltaWolf, out.